Anyways.
Oh, we're already live. I'm glad I didn't say anything mean and hurtful. I didn't know we were live already.
Yeah, like literally 2 seconds before you popped in.
Yeah. So guess what? So tonight I want to talk about how I want to talk about how triggers can be used for transformation. Do you like that? Was that good?
I like it.
Get it? Triggers, transformation.
Trigger, some alliteration there.
Cool. Is that what that's called?
That's what?
Since I didn't know we were live, I'll be right back.
Okay. Sounds good.
See.
It's like, gotta go to the bathroom.
Going to the
Sorry, Malcolm. Didn't mean to scare you.
Sorry about that, Malcolm.
Yeah, we scare ourselves sometimes.
Well, let's just start our conversation. We have a lot to cover tonight. A lot to cover. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. We always have a lot to cover that we just don't know until we cover it. But
I mean, I think we just channel a good message. Message is out there, and we're receivers, and we transmit it.
Like, no, I'm not gonna say it. All right. So what do I mean? Triggers. All right. So let me ask ChatGPT what a trigger is. Or maybe I should ask it what an emotional trigger is, because that's what I mean. No, I didn't watch it yet. I forgot. I forget everything, Malcolm. I literally can't remember something 2 minutes after I'm supposed to do it. Have you ever watched me on here and I just forget what I'm saying mid-sentence?
She admitted today she forgets she's walking sometimes. So.
Oh, yeah, and driving. I was being serious about that. Tell everybody what you're going to do.
Oh, I'm getting a walking treadmill desk.
You're such an adult.
Yeah. Got to keep that heart rate variability score going good. Burn some extra calories. Beach season coming up.
So are you literally going to be typing on your computer? That's what I mean. You're going to forget that you're walking and get.
No, it's very, very slow. Very slow.
All right, we'll see.
Walk really slowly. Then as you kind of get used to it, you start speeding it up if you want. But it's not like you're supposed to be power walking. Okay. It's just gradual. It's consistent movement.
Well, if I don't look where I'm walking on the treadmill I have, I start walking. I have to look at the ground. I don't know
sidestep the mat and halfway onto the rail and twist you.
I literally did gymnastics when I was younger too, and I'm so not balanced now. I don't know what happened. It's weird. I go to the kitchen too all the time and forget why I'm there, and then I get pissed. All right, let's start this off. Why are you so irresponsible and let me always do this and start it off? Because I'm everywhere. I'm all over the place. That is not true. It's our show. It's our show. Hey, Al.
Oh, he's back. We covered lots of important topics, yeah. Lots of important topics.
Scotty doesn't know. How does that go on road trip? Is that road trip?
Fiona and me were doing it in the back of the van or something like that.
Yeah.
But I do know, so.
True. So Scott, Scott. I'm glad that you are joining me. I'm sorry. I'm all jacked up on energy drinks. And I'm unsupervised over here. Silas is at his grandmother's house, so I'm all alone, free to get in trouble on the interwebs. All right, let's talk about triggers. This triggers is even a controversial word.
Well, I did make that statement the other night.
What?
Bullshit, but
a lot of people say that.
Yeah, I think it's overused, but there are definitely legit triggers.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for most people in the collective out there, outside of recovery and a lot inside recovery, I think it's an excuse to indulge in, I don't know, I don't want to say bad thoughts, but to indulge the thoughts that are not necessarily productive. So, but Anyway, that's kind of off topic from what you were talking about earlier.
Well, no, but you're right though, because a lot of people do believe that. So we're talking more of like what we were talking about earlier. Will you explain that a little bit? You're better at explaining stuff than I am.
For
Emotional triggers and like how we can utilize those or reframe those and use that for our advantage.
well, so I think that triggers are. How did you ask it earlier? You asked
It's
what are the underlying reasons for triggers, right?
right.
And I think something triggers you. It's just a flavor of an underlying belief, something that you're uncomfortable with. It's kind of like the saying that whatever you find wrong with the world is because it's a reflection of something inside of you. So triggers to me are if that is bothering me to the point where I'm getting emotionally upset about it, there is something inside of me that's unresolved. And the examples we were talking about was a lot of name calling and just judging of others for a different belief, basically, and kind of link that back to, well, why are we so why does that bother so much? And I think it's because the identity that person has assumed is so wrapped up. We're going to have to just call it a spade, Lindsay, and start.
Careful.
It's hard to do and be vague. But if your belief is so tied to your identity that you cannot fathom that other people believe opposite that you do, then if you're triggered by something, it's not necessarily because of what your belief is. It's because, in my opinion, you have possibly some doubt about your own belief, or you have some type of lack of, you're not recognized for what you believe. Maybe you're jealous of the other path because it allows for different freedoms that you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not necessarily, and actually I posted this on X earlier, is that it's not necessarily the thing that you are, the thing that you think pisses you off is not necessarily what's pissing you off. What's pissing you off is your judgment of the thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Somebody's got to take it over from there, because I'm struggling beating around the bush without diving into it.
Excuse me. Yes, this. Do you mean like bullying or stress? Lee said. I'll explain it more because I don't know how to answer that. But sorry, Scott, did you want to jump in?
Nope, go ahead.
Okay. The reason that I thought of this is it kind of is like beneficial for everything, like sobriety and just everyday life. So when I'm emotionally triggered, oh my God, you know what? In the big book, it says when I am, it's like I'm disturbed, when I'm disturbed, some shit by people, place, or thing. That is bad paraphrasing. Maybe Scott, you probably know.
No, I never read it.
Acceptance. It's a form of acceptance. When I find something outside of me that's disturbing me, it's because something inside of me is not healthy or not good. I'm not accepting of it. So
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's kind of what I mean. And now I'm sidetracked and forgot what I was saying. Jesus Christ. Squirrel. No, but okay. So I guess you're right, Adam. It is hard. I'm trying to think of how to all right, so here's the deal. So we're all here. Look at that. We're all here in this recovery space to get better, hopefully help someone else, right? And help each other, to have a community. Some people dedicate more of their time than others to in our online a lot, and some aren't. He just dipped.
I think maybe his internet was freezing.
I know, I'm just playing. I shouldn't have gone there.
Yeah, true.
Fuck. No, because I don't want to be negative. And I don't think I am, but I just don't want it to turn into that, into like pointing anything out. Hey.
Hello.
Poor internet.
What's wrong with me tonight?
Video card updated and shut my camera off, so I had to restart.
Dude, because for a second I saw you look at the camera and then it was like you were trying to stare daggers through the screen, man. It was just like intense. I was like, he's about to flip his shit or something's going on.
Nope. I come in peace.
Scratch. Let's start from scratch. Where do we start from scratch then? We could do another topic if we needed to.
Well, I think it's easy to get offended by something because we all have our own beliefs. Even between the three of us, we all believe different things. When it comes to sobriety and recovery, we're kind of on the same channel, but maybe not, exactly the same. But when something triggers you, the way to deal with that is to step back from it and look at it kind of from a third party perspective and go, what the hell is going on? Why is this pissing me off so much? Especially if acceptance is something that I have learned is the easiest way to live my life stress-free. So if acceptance is what I'm supposed to be doing and someone else's beliefs are messing with me, it's my responsibility. I think it's my responsibility as a human being to understand why this is bothering me, not to fix you and change your belief or tell other people not to listen to you. Because, and that's what I posted on Scott's thing, that quote from The Matrix, the third one. He's like, damn it, Morpheus, not everybody believes like you do. And Morpheus' response is golden. He goes, my beliefs don't require them to.
Yeah.
So my belief on how I get sober, how I do recovery, on what I believe is God and how I believe the human body works in this existence doesn't require anybody else on this planet to believe the exact same thing. There are billions of people who do not agree with what I believe. That's perfectly fine because it doesn't change the fact that I believe it. And it doesn't affect my belief. It doesn't make me question my belief. It doesn't make me think that there is something that I am missing out on. Because as far as I know, and I continue to do the exploration and the search and the deep work, I think I have found a very good answer for me to live life to my fullest capacity without having to drink or use drugs.
Right.
So I think that's kind of what we're getting down to, and what we talked about before we went live was kind of what maybe some of those underlying reasons for that judgment are, for that hardcore just dislike is.
So okay, so I understand that there are people that can't handle diversity of thought, especially in the recovery community. We've talked about it a billion times. I don't think I'll ever be able to solve it. But you know what? The reason I'm so freaking loud on here and speak my mind is because, and I'm sure you guys as well, is because my message, and I can't speak for you guys, but I know that we have similar interests here. Our message that we want to get out is that it's non-judgmental, non-judge zone freaking recovery, and everybody's accepted, and it's inclusive, and you don't have to do it the way that some Tom, Dick, or Harry that thinks they know has done it. Just because something has worked for you and that is your experience, that is not truth. for, it is not universal truth. And what I personally have an issue with is not understanding, and I'm not trying to sound cold or nasty when I say this. I genuinely don't understand the getting stuck up in your own perception that you cannot see outside of 2 feet of yourself to where you believe you're the arbiter of truth. I don't understand, and I need someone to explain it to me. Why do you think you know the way? Why do you think that why do you assume people are on here getting financial gain or notoriety? Like, what is wrong with you that you are mad? I'm just being honest. And if you think it's directed to you, it is. Okay.
To me, a great analogy for this. You guys familiar with CrossFit? You heard that term before?
For losers.
CrossFit, yeah, right. So for years and years and years, the gym scene was dominated by bodybuilding bros. And there was a little bit of science thrown into it. You know, if you wanted to go get fit, you went to a gym, worked with a personal trainer, 9 times out of 10, they put you through a bodybuilding style workout. And then CrossFit came along and was doing all sorts of weird shit. And you know what the philosophy around it is called black box theory, because they really hadn't done much science in trying to figure out what was going on. But they knew that if they combined sprinting and long distance running and heavy lifts and high repetitions and explosive movements in as many combinations as they could, then the person that came out on the other side was usually healthier, had a better VO2 max, could lift almost as much as the power lifters, looked better than bodybuilders, minus the juiced up ones, had better flexibility, were just overall, in general, a better athlete. So it's this black box theory of we're going to put all this stuff in and we're going to put you in there. And when you come out the other side, you're going to be better. The bodybuilding bros in the traditional gym community could not fucking stand it. There was a period of about 10 years where if you tried to do a CrossFit style workout in a traditional gym, they would kick you out. What? Now it's kind of come mainstream. And I'm talking 20 years ago when I had a CrossFit gym. Now it's a little more mainstream. They're pretty much CrossFit gyms all over the place, but they're two competing theories that have now kind of finally understood each other and are at least going in the same direction. They don't really cross paths much, but at least they're going in the same direction. And we're kind of in a similar situation, but just with addiction and recovery. Because for the longest time, there's been one dogmatic way of doing it. And a lot of people have gotten a lot of results with that. But as the population of people who have addiction issues and substance use issues grows, because population is growing and science is growing at the same time, and spiritual awakening and enlightenment is happening at the same time, people are figuring out other ways to do the same thing without having to be dogmatic about it. So the dogmatic group absolutely hates that. And it's just like competing religions. And I've used the elephant analogy a million times. As far as I'm concerned, from a sobriety and recovery standpoint, we're all looking for the same thing, except some people are over here rubbing the trunk, some are rubbing the leg, some are feeling the tusk. It's still an elephant. So that's kind of where I think we're at. We're at this junction point, and X is a good representation of it, because you can armchair quarterback and you can sit back and be a keyboard warrior. You don't have to have a face-to-face conversation with somebody and actually articulate the reason behind your beliefs. Right. And I think that's the big difference. When one of us says, this is what I believe and here's why, we have some reasons. To me, if what you believe and here's why is from one source, your source is very limited. My beliefs on spirituality and what I think happens to the soul and the body and energy come from multiple different religions, multiple different sources of consciousness. So I'm not just stuck talking about one avenue. And I incorporate all that stuff into my own recovery. So to me, sobriety and recovery, and like I've said before, is a byproduct of doing the work of making yourself the best person possible. So why would I want to focus on just sobriety and recovery when I want to be as best as I can? I'd rather get the big picture payoff and have sobriety and recovery be a side prize than only focus on sobriety and recovery and never reach my full potential. That's how I view it.
Yeah. Well, Scott, you want to?
Sure. So everybody hates the boss, right? He drives up in this huge Cadillac or this huge truck, and I'm over here making pennies. And this dude is rolling in high roller, you know what I mean? Like, how fair is that? This is crap, you know. He should give me some more or whatever. But what people don't understand is that guy is putting up all the risk. I had an ex-family member who owned a business. It was a multi-million-dollar business. Some bad things happened, and he no longer has a multi-million-dollar business. Actually sold it and worked for a competitor now. Still doing well for himself. So what am I getting at here? And maybe this is a stretch. But when it comes to like the three of us, our faces are on the things that we do. And we come on here and we're willing to talk and have a discussion and put ourselves out there to have difficult conversations. So the risk is on us. When Adam used keyboard warriors and they come in and they want to have a problem or feel triggered about something, most of them are hiding behind some fake profile picture. Maybe it's their name, maybe it's not. Maybe it says John, maybe it says Karen, whatever it says on their profile. And so they come in and then they make their comments when the three of us are putting our faces and voices out there to try to open doors or illuminate pathways for people. I have my pathway and I want you to find the one that works for you. I couldn't care less what that pathway is. If it's strictly AA all the time and sponsorship, dude, that is awesome. What Adam talked about, dogmatic, in case anybody doesn't know, that is to follow a set of rules no matter what, right? So that's what dogmatic means, and that's what he's talking about. It is this way or nothing. Nothing else could possibly work. That didn't work for me.
No.
I tried. I was in AA for several years. I've shown my big books, and people they just listen to 5 seconds or something, and I'm not surprised by that, and I'm not triggered, to use a word that we're using, by it. I'm annoyed by it because it's like you don't even know what I've talked about. I've showed the big books. Lindsay asked me a big book question earlier, and I was like, oh, never read it. That was me being facetious. Yes. You know what I mean? Because I don't know everything about the stupid big book, but I've put my time into it, so I think I can speak on it a little bit. And I completely just lost my train of thought. But I guess my point is, we are putting the risk out there by putting our names out there, right? I haven't received a cent. I haven't received notoriety. The notoriety that means something to me is when I can have a guest on my podcast that can share their story, and they're from another freaking country or across the United States. I can say, wow, I just had somebody on there that was willing to talk recovery with me. And that, to me, that's a win and that's a positive. And so if me saying that I don't use AA anymore hurts your feelings, that only has to do with you and not me. Because I gave it an honest effort, and you may not know that, and you may not think that, and I don't care.
Right.
Anyway, I tried to play nice. Love everyone.
Excellent points. Excellent points. Malcolm, I totally agree. More will be revealed. That's the thing. It isn't my job to take others' inventory, to say a phrase that I really don't like, but if the shoe fits, right?
And to Malcolm's point right there, I've made this claim a few times. I think had AA been organized slightly differently and maybe put together a medical board or a review board to stay current with current science and what we understand to be the addiction problem, AA could have been able to tailor its message as technology, or not technology, but as science and medical understanding advanced?
Science may science
Exactly
may
what I
one day
was
do
going.
this. Yeah, science may one day do this. It hasn't done so yet. Bill
Yes.
left that door open.
Exactly.
The problem isn't the big book and what Bill was
No.
trying to say. I say that all the freaking time. And it's like
Yeah.
I'm talking to a wall sometimes to some of these people. It's like the big book is good. It's pretty good. It's not perfect. There's a lot of crap I don't like in it. But Bill left that door open. And Bill, 20 years after writing it, was using medical, assisted treatment to help himself. So I don't know why. And it's always this, anyway, I don't know why some people are so stubborn. It's okay. Be stubborn. Be who you are. If you're staying sober, I don't give a shit. Good for you. I'm happy for you. Truly. I mean that. Like, seriously, keep coming to my page and arguing and keep the discussion going, because you're either A, going to help me learn something, or B, you're going to show everybody else some of the things and be an example for some of the things that I've been talking about.
Yeah,
Prove
exactly.
your point. Excellent. Yes. Oh my gosh. Got me thinking now. The thing is too, it's like, it's easy, like Scott said, to come conversate and believe that all the answers and this and that. The thing is, we aren't telling people what they want to hear. We don't care about telling people what they want to hear or making them like us. Obviously, Scott, everybody attacks Scott. So, I mean, nobody likes you, Scott.
I finally made it.
I wish I made $1 off this shit. Do you know how much money I've spent doing this and how much time I've spent doing
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, I asked that earlier. Nobody responded to me. Where is the X bank where I can make my
Right.
withdrawal? Because I haven't seen anything. I'm going in the negative pain for the streaming services and the internet and all these things. And I had to give up the website because I can't afford it. And it's like, so yeah, all this money that these stupid, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. That's aggressive. But all these silly people accusing me of making, it's like, it's what? Because I have like a logo that somebody donated to me. You know what I mean? Like, is that, wow? I mean, you can go to placeit.com and make yourself a logo, unlimited logos for a month for $14. Give it a shot. You can be cool like me too.
Well, what I say is, if you believe that your message deserves to be heard, that your voice deserves to be heard, then do something about it. Don't try to get in the way of others that are actually passionate about helping others. And there's a reason that we are doing this and spending our money. It's because we very obviously believe in our message. It is not easy to make money online. So like all the people that say that, like, you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Okay. I'm sorry.
That's just something to throw out there to.
Yeah, it's just a low blow. That's all it is.
Yeah, I know. It's like saying,
So there's Adam is highly involved in this stuff. And Lindsay, you're a therapist. You see people come in your doors and talk to people every single day. I'm not a therapist. I'm a recovery coach, and I do intakes at work. I do recovery coaching, and it's a revolving door of people coming in and out every single day. And some people want AA, some people don't want AA. I can sit down and I can have a great conversation with somebody that is all enthralled in the big book. And then I can have a conversation with somebody else that wants nothing to do with it. To me, that's beautiful. That is helping more people than it's not, right?
Yeah.
So we're in this thing every single day. I work and then I want to come home and I want to get on the internet and I want to talk about it. So I've chosen to take this, and I will continue to take the people, some of the people coming up and saying some things and making crazy accusations that not. But, one thing I do need to work on, and this is actually making it, honestly, I could probably share this. My work relationships, like, they're not getting any better because I can't change those people, but the way that I react to them is getting better. So the callus that I'm developing from the stupid crap that people post on X is actually transferring to work. And so it's actually kind of been beneficial. So thank you.
That's awesome.
It is amusing though. Like, I'm not trying to be like I get irritated because it's just like over and over again. I hear it and I'm like, I'll just ignore it. And then it's finally like, oh my God, like you're so annoying. Like just go.
Yeah.
But
squeaky wheel getting the grease tonight.
Yeah. But I wanted to bring this up because I really wanted to stress that, and just for me, I wanted to stress this that I'm here because I really feel like I have a message and I have something to give. And I believe that, and people tell me that, and so I'm going to keep doing my best. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I don't make money, like I said, but I get people that say thank you for saying this or that, and like that's cool. Like that's cool. Like I wish that I knew about more resources and there was more online stuff when I was getting sober. And I wish there were people that said, "Hey, it's okay if you don't do that. You're not a failure if this program isn't your jam. You're not a failure if you don't believe in this or that." Like let's lay off people. I know people were stirred up when I made this video about, are we really helping the newcomer? And it still stands. Like we okay, for me, I need to constantly be evaluating, am I really aligned with my purpose and what my message is, or am I out here contradicting everything that I say that I believe? Because if you're doing it, you shouldn't have to say it all the time. You know what I mean? Like, oh, look at me, look at me. No, you just do it. You just do it and you be an example and you help others. And like, I'm not, recognition, like for what? Recognition for what? Like that's not what makes me feel good, you know?
Yeah, half the crap that makes me feel good, nobody knows about. They don't
Yeah.
know about the DMs. They don't know about the emails. Nobody knows about those things because I don't need to advertise that. That's just something like, oh, well, thank you. That's very nice. And
Right.
I think something else about the three of us, I think we like to learn and we like to evolve. And again, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but if you go look at my videos in the beginning, if you're actually willing to do that, I was very much AA detailed.
Yeah.
It was very much AA this, AA that. Steps revisited, talking about AA and stuff. And then as my recovery progressed and I grew, I no longer needed to do that anymore. And that's like offensive to somebody. Some people, very few, but it shouldn't be offensive. It should be like, oh my God, that's great. You're growing and you don't need to depend on this crutch anymore. And I'm not saying that it's a crutch if you got to use AA forever. That's not what I'm saying. I want total freedom at the end of the day. And I may never get it, but that is my goal, is freedom, right? I was attached at the hip to a fucking bottle for 15, 20 years. I don't want to be attached to the hip to anything else that doesn't make me feel good and that is good for me, like family and friends. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And you know what? I feel like shit, I forgot what I was gonna say, man.
And so
Up.
put this up there. So Malcolm put this up. AA is not my life. Recovery is my life. That to me, that's kind of where I was about a year and a half ago. I was kind of in that spot. Not AA wasn't my life, but I was kind of like, sobriety is not my life. Recovery is my life. And I kept digging deeper and digging deeper. And I would take that statement now and say that recovery is not my life. Living is my life now.
Yes. That's the goal, right?
Just like you said, freedom. And for me, when I dig down and I find these things, like we're talking about for triggers, when we dig down and we find these underlying beliefs and these emotional scars, and we're able to reframe them into something that is helpful, we're able to reprocess an old memory that is traumatic for us and understand what was actually happening to us when we were 5 or 6, 7 years old. And all of a sudden you see you can just see it. When I've helped people with this, they're sitting there and they're telling you that, and I kind of coach them through it, and then they get it. It's just like a big breath, just exhale, eyes light up. They're kind of like, oh my God, you're right. And when you can take that and you can apply that to why you were trying to comfort yourself, because like RJ said this morning, at one point, everything that we were addicted to was comforting at one point before it became a problem. And so when you figure out why you're trying to comfort yourself and you're able to change that to where you no longer need to comfort it, then you no longer need to use the substance. So it's kind of a long way of kind of saying what you all said, but yeah. So.
Well, I think like, what is our goal? What is our real goal here? I mean, as a people's, as a recovery community, I believe collectively that we want the best for each other. And
you asked a good question right before we went live, and this just popped into my head, and then you asked it even better right there. Is what is our goal?
Yeah.
And some people's goal is to live free and clear of the substance that they were using, like we are, and to be better at life. And some people's goal is to be really good at the method that they use to get sober.
Right.
That's
what I want to be good at, is that. Yep.
Interesting. Yeah, I never thought of it that way. Very interesting.
No, that's a great point. Great point. Hey, look at what Lee said. Will you pull that up real quick?
Got it.
When I quit, I never had to get any help because all I did was say to myself, never again. And it's now been over 5.5 years.
But you're not sober, Lee. You didn't do it the right way.
You beat me to it. You beat me to it.
Yeah.
Then clearly, Lee, you were not a real alcoholic ever. So
you're gonna die.
Yeah. So I mean, with that kind of thinking, Lee, I mean, just to be like, I'm done. Like, what are you, a genie?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I mean, you cannot do it without A, B, and C, and D. So first of all, congratulations, Lee.
Congrats. Yeah, I was gonna say congratulations.
That is awesome, dude. 5.5 years is fantastic. That's an amazing thing. And that happens way more than some people want to admit, that people just make a decision. And it's mind over matter. It really is. Like, if you can take your trauma or whatever it was, your pain that caused you to get into that hole in the first place, and you can spin it or find a way to deal with it, or maybe it's a divine intervention of something, who gives a shit what it is?
Yeah.
And you can turn that corner and change it. That should be applauded, not questioned. Why the fuck would I question that? Why would I bring this person down and actually mean what Adam and I said? Well, then you weren't a real alcoholic.
Yeah.
Nope, you're a liar.
It's ignorant as fuck anyways. It's like,
it's
only time. It's only time you'll pick back up.
Oh yeah, just a matter of time. Yep.
like
Yep.
mind your own
Doing
business.
push-ups.
Oh, darn it. I cussed.
So did I. Sorry, buddy.
Like our
He's sneaky. He's letting us know that he's back. Thanks, buddy. He must have missed it. And I want to touch on something real quick before somebody flips their testicles on my son being in the comments. I am trying to live as open and honest as I can about my addiction and my recovery I can with my children, because if this thing is hereditary, if this thing is something like that, which I don't know if it is or not, there's a lot of studies to say different things. I want them to be able to do the same, at least, to be open and honest with me, or to see me doing that, and hope that it could help them, not at minimum, understand what I went through.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Adeline will get similar treatment when she's a little bit older.
Yeah. So personally, I love AA because of the fellowship, and it's ubiquitous, and it's a very simple program, but that's my opinion. I love the fellowship too. I loved the fellowship in so many meetings. It's so great. The best AA meetings I went to were in treatment, because everybody's so vulnerable, and everybody was so connected. And I love those kind of meetings. And I found those outside of that. I love those meetings, and they are so powerful sometimes, truly. And even a good big book study. I used to run big book studies. I still got the book that my first sponsor wrote in my closet to do it. And it's good. It is so good to go through the big book with that thing, dude. He did a great job. Yeah, absolutely. The fellowship is the best part of it, but it's again, I might be able to make the argument that it's most of the people are pretty good, but it's those other people that are allowed to be so fucking loud that flip it on its head.
Yeah.
So people want to keep saying that I'm anti-AA. If you can hear what I just said for those last few seconds, and I meant every word of it, you know that I am not anti-AA. I'm anti-asshole.
Well, that's the thing too, is us three are accepting of all pathways. And so that means everything. That doesn't mean anti anything. And that's what's so strange. People think we're like maybe attacking something because we don't believe it's the only way and we don't tell other people they're wrong. That's so silly. We're not attacking anybody that uses a program that we literally got sober in. like I owe my life to that, you know? So I think people they don't understand. That's fine if you don't understand. But you know,
I had a rash. I went to the doctor. He gave me some medicine for it. The rash went away. I no longer go to my doctor. I am anti-doctor.
Yeah, you are. Dirty dog.
Because I didn't need the doctor anymore.
Where's the rash?
Well, that's for another podcast.
That's for the alien podcast, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Like I talked about it the other day, like how I needed the fellowship more than anything, probably. It was that hope. It gave me hope.
So I'm here goes a sober heathen running his mouth nonstop. But I want to say something else about the fellowship too, okay? Because it can be, and it ties into what we've all been saying, especially what Adam had commented. I had a fellowship of people that I really trusted, and I got into my second treatment voluntarily because of these people. It was my second sponsor and some friends that we'd get on every single night and do an AA meeting together. And that fellowship was my crutch, and that's what got me through some rough times. And then my sponsor was the one that I called every time that I had phone privileges, him and my grandma, right? And I called him, and he was, like my guy. And when I would still be struggling, he'd still talk to me. What happened was that fellowship went away because he pushed a couple of girls away, and then he ended up pushing me away, and then that crutch was gone. So the fellowship needs to be, never mind, I said needs, that's not what I meant. The fellowship can be something that can get us going, but if you're completely reliant on that fellowship, what happens when they go away? Right? Or they do something because they're sick too, right? My sponsor wanted to manipulate the relationship with the woman that I love because he thought that was the right idea. He thought that's what needed to happen. And all that did would made things fall right back on his face. I moved 2.5 hours away because of his suggestions. And I was that far away, 3 hours away from my children. And I was going to live up there because I thought that's what I needed. I had given up and surrendered so much that I was going to listen to this person and their suggestions. And when did everything get better for me? I had to fall again because of what happened between him and I. And then I came home to where my heart was. And I made the amends and I did the things I needed to do here at home. And that's when things changed. Yeah. So all I'm cautioning is the fellowship is great. And it's so good to get in there and talk with people and have those relationships. I don't want to be attached to that either. And now I don't need to be attached to that. Yeah. The strength comes from within.
Yeah. Hey, that's another, I guess I make this point often, at least I feel like I do, is the difference between an external sobriety and an internal sobriety. I mean,
oh yeah,
my ability to get sober and stay sober was not dependent upon external factors. Now, I have had this conversation with a few individuals on X as well, and they say, well, my sobriety is not dependent on external people either. It's all internal in my step work. So that's fine, but stop going to meetings. Well, I can't do that because then I won't have the fellowship. And that's like, well, you just kind of proved my point. So that's one reason why I didn't go that route, or I should say that's one reason why I didn't go back to that route after I left. then I'm not going to go down that road of all the things that I found wrong with it. But that's why I went and turned internally to figure out why I needed to sedate and massively comfort myself with alcohol. And that's the route I wanted. But, so let's assume one of us is massively triggered by something. How do we change that? How do we stop ourselves from becoming what we've been talking about?
You have to be aware that, well, I'm uncomfortable when I'm triggered now. So then I'm like, I can notice when I'm triggered, even like during this discussion, I can see I am emotionally heightened, like reactive or whatever. And I know why. But I think like once I get an awareness to it, then I can do further work, like what we talk about, into the beliefs of like, well, what is like, there might be a core wound in there. There might be an unmet need, like we were talking about. There could be, it could be something as similar as I'm feeling envious or anything like that. I need to like look at that.
You have a ego. Your ego's attached. That sounds like a landline.
It is.
Is it in the kitchen?
Nice.
You got a wire on it, like the little curly thing. That's amazing.
No, but there's a wire that comes from the wall, but no, there's no curly thing on it, dude. It's not a rotary phone where I grew up with that one though.
Yeah, like it was in the kitchen and you had to go down the hallway and like, hey,
yeah.
Oh no, they're still here. You can't come over yet.
Yep.
And it's like you go too far and you get pulled back.
Yeah, we're that old.
So,
I think with when I have deleted more comments and more posts than ever. You know what I mean? Like, and then I've let some slip through and like, shit, I shouldn't have done that, and I go back and I delete it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's self-evaluation. When I start to feel like, when I feel that emotion being attached to something, I'm a lot more aware of it. So, I mean, just when you feel it, you got to say, okay, so it's just me just wanted to make my point, or is, and I've learned a lot through that. So,
right.
And journaling, when I'm super pissed off about shit, I write it down, and that helps too.
Right. Well, and even asking myself, okay, like tonight, like, so why do specific things bother me in the community? A lot of times it comes back to me believing that, or not believing, but me being triggered because it's almost like I feel like it's an outcasting situation and I'm like, I want to protect new people. That's not my job though. But I have to recognize that. And even when I still get upset and I think, I'm not in control of any of this stuff. Like it's a waste of time for me to even probably talk about it, but not on here, because that's what we do is we talk about stuff related to recovery. And so this is the time and place. But if this is like bothering me on my own time, if something like that is triggering me on my own time, I need to really, really, really evaluate why I care. And why it's bothering me, because there's something wrong.
Absolutely.
What?
Developing that mindfulness to be able to step back and look at it as like a third party is like, okay, there's me, there's a situation. Why is that bothering me? And you're the observer of the situation. The more you can do that, the more that becomes automatic and second nature, and the less things will piss you off. Now, I'm not about to say that stuff doesn't piss me off, but I feel like I'm to the point now where if something really does make me mad, I know exactly why, almost automatically, why it's pissed me off. And I work to change that inside me. And usually it comes back down to, well, because I'm right and you're wrong. That's usually what it comes back down to. And I have to remind myself, well, I'm not the master of the universe, and other people have their own beliefs and ways of doing things. As much as I hate it,
Yeah.
I think AA and I agree on that.
Yeah. You're the calm one out of the bunch here.
The
Seriously.
voice of reason.
I start spiraling and then I go, oh, wait, calm down, Lindsay. I'm good. Everybody.
Oh,
Yeah, you're a 5.
clearly I'm the problem, and that's okay.
Obviously.
Like I drag everybody into the depths of shenanigans.
We need to blame somebody, okay?
That's fine. That's fine. I just got another comment on X from a really great human. It's it just proves the point. Huh? Oh, I sent it to you guys. You guys can check it out.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's soups adorbs, man. I love people. I do.
You do?
Oh
I
my
do.
gosh. Oh yeah. So all right. So Scott, I mentioned this earlier.
Yeah.
Right before we went live and we popped on, like the thing about that whole thread that is concerning to me is not the closed-mindedness to not believe there are other ways of sobriety.
I know.
It's the fact that that specific way teaches that things that bother me that are outside of my control mean that there are issues inside of me that I still need to fix, basically, and that I shouldn't be taking other people's inventories, and I shouldn't assume things about other people and not to judge and all that fun stuff. And that's all that thread is.
Mhm.
It's inventory and judgment. And it's like, so who's got this spiritual issues?
The malady, baby.
This one individual has told me so much about my own intentions and what I've done. It's just and I'm like, wow, thank you for the enlightenment. I didn't know that I was doing it for those reasons.
Yeah.
And there has been a couple times that this one particular interview was like, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. They even apologized because they knew that, oh shit, yeah, I did that. They just can't help themselves. And that's okay. That's okay. Keep doing it. Really, it's okay. I unfollowed them so I don't have to see their crap. They're still following me. If they want to see what they think is my crap, that's okay. You want to keep commenting? Cool. Help the algorithm out. Please.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Exactly right.
It's like we're not pinpointing anybody. It's like, but it's like attack us enough times, and it's like, dude, like just.
So today was the first time I sought out somebody's timeline because it was brought to my attention that they were talking about me, and it was clear that they were talking about me. They just didn't have the testicular fortitude to say the sober heathen.
Yeah.
Okay. They didn't have the sack to tag me in it, but they wanted to make comments about it. So I went over there and I was like, man, who is this guy you're talking about? He sounds like a real asshole. I'd love to know more about him.
Like in high school, man.
Yeah. And
sick shit.
Then all I got was a little meme and it was soups adorbs. So thanks for that. But anyway, Malcolm says, do you guys still attend meetings?
I do smart recovery meetings, but not often.
I run meetings at work. I call it the recovery exchange meetings, where people can come in and we just do like a check-in and then we let the conversation evolve into whatever it is. And I've got really positive feedback on that. All I do is because of where I work, I tend to have more sobriety than the people that come in the door. And I just share what I did, what worked for me, what didn't, what might, you know what I mean? And I let them decide. You know, I show them my big book. I talk about AA in a positive way. When they bring up negative things about something, I give my opinion if asked. I don't guide anybody to in a certain thought process. And people really like the comfort. I had a gentleman that's a little bit older than me that come in the other day, and he asked my advice on what to do and how to find a sponsor.
Hey.
And he said, well, and I'll give you a quick scenario on what it was. And this is what I told him. And then these people can listen to this and see how much of a devil I am.
You are so bad, dude.
I am. He's like, okay, so this treatment, this treatment court that I'm in, they're telling me that I can't go on to the next phase until I find a sponsor. I don't want to just go pick anybody, but I have to find a sponsor because the court system is making me find it in a certain amount of time. He's like, how do I go about it? I've asked a couple guys and they kind of turned me down. He's like, I thought I might ask you what your suggestion would be to finding a sponsor. I said, well, you definitely, if you're going to use a sponsor, you definitely just don't want to have some random dude be your sponsor. But I said, but what you could do is you could go into a meeting that you're comfortable with, and you could say, hi, I'm so-and-so. I would just like to say that I am currently looking for a sponsor because of the treatment court that I'm in, or the court processes that I'm in. They're requiring me to have a sponsor. I'm looking for a temporary sponsor in hopes to find a full-time sponsor because I'm obligated by the courts to have one. If anybody would be willing to be my temporary sponsor so that I can get on to the next phase while I look for my full-time sponsor, please see me after the meeting. He's like, Jim, I knew you would have the answer. And I pulled that shit out of my ass last second, but it's just from my experience in the meetings, I've heard people talk about that shit before, temporary sponsors, and nobody, so he left out of there feeling pretty damn good about things and what he was going to do at this next meeting and how he was going to ask it. Yeah. So I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just trying to give some examples because really, the more we have people in this community, the more information we have for the people that are still struggling. And that's going to be better. You know what I mean? So I don't want to have, confrontations with people. I mean, I kind of enjoy it if I'm being honest, but at the same time, I would rather have more people involved.
Yeah. Like we're supposed to be sharing ideas. Like why, diversity is our strength. Okay. I'm just, to use a cliche saying that I don't like, it's true. I want to know other people's advice, the way that they did things, what worked for them. I'm interested in things that on their face, I'm like, I don't think I believe in that. And then I look at it, I'm like, I have to critically think about things these days, or else I don't want to go back to drinking and drugging. If I don't critically think about, everything, right? Then, it's easier to act on emotions, or whatever, and go back down to drinking and drugging again. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to keep learning, and we're supposed to, just like be accepting of each other. That's what I value that though. I understand that's not everybody's value. And I think you guys probably have that as a value. Like I genuinely think everybody should be seen and heard, that their opinion matters. They matter. I don't like making people be quiet. I'm very triggered by that. If you haven't noticed, when I think that someone's trying to shut someone out or outcast them or shut them up because they don't like what they're saying, I have a real problem with that. I'm just being honest. We don't try to quiet people because we don't like their words. It's really not good. So I'm sorry I get on my soapbox, but I just fucking hate that. It literally triggers me.
Yeah. I know why, too.
You know why?
I know why being excluded triggers you.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's probably numerous reasons. There's many. But yes, you're right.
I was just thinking back to your story you tell about high school.
About what? High school?
Wanting to fit in. Yeah,
of course. It's like totally. Yeah. So if you guys don't know, I just like assume people are watching that. Like, no, they're probably like, what's she talking about? I started drinking because I wanted to belong. I was in high school and I drank for the first time because I saw this chick, this hot girl, big titties. Sorry. Getting all these guys' attention. And I was a freshman in high school and I was so shy. Like I had no fashion style. I had no friends. I was just a competitive gymnast, dorky dork, quiet, introverted, really good student, perfect grades. And I see this chick getting attention. I'm like, oh my God, like I want to be like an adult or like, I want attention. I want to be popular in a club or something. And I really wanted that because I hadn't had that before. And so I drank. That was my way of doing it. Drinking with some friends. I got kicked out of school. And then I realized alcohol and drugs, despite the consequence, the first time I drank, they did something for me, you know?
Yeah.
And so now when I see people being, I don't want to say the be bullied word, but I guess when I feel like some people are being included, I get really like, I know it's not my business, but it's like, because I feel like maybe it is okay because I do have the message I'm trying to spread that that's not okay and that's harming people. Do whatever you want, but like, don't come around me and do it, you know? I'm not going to allow it around me.
Yeah.
Care.
No, I personally do not go to meetings, Malcolm.
I'll go with clients and stuff still, but I'm just, it's been a long road.
Yeah. I do go check in with my my addiction therapist or addiction counselor every 8 to 10 weeks. We usually just end up talking about theory of CBT and stuff like that. She's like, I don't know why you keep coming to see me. I was like, you're fun to talk to. So
Malcolm,
it's good to have somebody to check in with.
Sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Malcolm said, go hard or go home.
Yeah. So you got, everybody is accepted here. Everybody's loved. Is cheesy as that sounds, it's true. Like, that's the only way to recover, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I want to safe space for all.
Yeah. I'm excited. Before we close, to do a little plug for the Sober Heathen podcast tomorrow at noon. I get to have Mary Beth from Junkie to Judge on my podcast, a fellow atheist. I know I hate using that word very often because it turns people off. It just means that I lack a belief in God. I'm trying to say it simply. That's all. That's all that means. I started reading her book tonight. It finally came in the mail. I ordered it a minute ago. It's very interesting. She is very much for multiple pathways, and I cannot wait to sit down and talk with her tomorrow. I'm very honored to have the Honorable Judge Mary on the podcast.
Yep. She's great.
Yeah.
Go look at my interview I did with her before.
You might do that.
Go look at it tomorrow. Get geared up.
I might have to do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
I don't have an interview with her. So.
What?
I said I don't have an interview with her. So
what day?
Not yet. You're getting there.
Yeah.
When I talked to Mary Beth, man, how she like inspired me so much. Just like her genuine like personality and like her approach. It's genuine, and you can tell she's not trying to like sell anybody on anything, and that's how she's the real deal. Like, she just knows this is what I did and this is what works for me and this is what statistics say or whatever, the research, and she doesn't like bash anybody. It's really cool. I really, really, really respect her.
Well, I can't wait because that's exactly what I want to do with this little bit of platform. So yeah,
what we're doing, that's my main fight every day. That's what we're doing.
Cool.
Well,
Put it on while I'm driving. You got a lot of driving coming up.
Where are you going? We'll talk later.
We're gonna go test a bunch of Zaxby's floors.
oh. Well,
Determine their dynamic coefficient of friction.
Huh?
good luck, Sheldon.
Luckily, the robot does it. I just have to press the button.
Oh, okay.
I know you guys are talking geek
I
talk.
don't remember those equations. I used to be able to do that. But
Well, this was fun. Thanks for letting me pop in last second.
Hey, thanks for letting me share.
jumping in. All right. Adios.